All right, good morning everyone. Bill Hurtado with Transwest Truck Trailer RV. Those of you that have been watching some of my videos know I get a little excited about some products that we have. This applies 100%. This one is something that is unusual for us to have. The Winnebago EKKO, and this is a new 23 on a 23 chassis, so it has all of the upgrades on the chassis. We have approximately 105 of these on order, and close to 100 of those are spoken for already. So yes, this is the hottest selling product on the planet right now. So unusual for us to have one become available, but I do today. Now my phone number, 714-809-4813, is over here in airplane mode right now. So I can do this nice presentation on the EKKO for you. But as soon as I turn it on, I expect to have a lot of messages on there. People are going to want this thing. So if you have friends or somebody that have been looking for an EKKO, don't feel like waiting 6 months to a year to get one. This is available today. All right, let's talk about this a little bit. The EKKO is on the Ford Transit chassis. That chassis has the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, 310 horsepower engine, and 10-speed transmission. It's a wonderful driving machine. This also has the twin turbo on it, so no turbo lag when you take off and lots of power at high end. That EcoBoost has been around since 2011, I believe. And obviously they've made changes and tweaks on it along the way. It is absolutely fantastic. What a wonderful driving machine you've got right here. That coupled with all-wheel drive make this a great four-season unit. In fact, in the new brochure from Winnebago that just came out, there's a picture of some people using this up at the ski resorts, driving around in the snow and the ice. So really great setup. I think it's one of the top 5 things I've watched in the RV industry change over the years. That's just so beneficial. All right, so speaking of that, now on this 23 chassis, we do have anti-lock brakes front and rear. We've also got, let's talk about the house portion back here as we go. So a little bit redesigned screen door on here. This is fully welded and very strong. Also has a lock on the inside for security on this one. This particular unit has what's called the optional tailgate package. Before I go too far on that, let's talk options for a second. There's several options available on the EKKO, and this one, just so you know, has every available option with the exception of the inflatable cab bed that goes across the front seats up here. And it does not have the pop top up above. So that being said, without the pop top, you can get the tailgate package. With the pop top, you cannot. That legitimizes this unit as a true two-person unit. That's its intention. So speaking of the tailgate package, this is a really nice setup. Of course, you've got refrigerator and cooktop on the inside, but many people like to do all this stuff out here under their patio awning, their 13-foot patio awning. So the way this works is you've got these little yellow handles, and we take and move these things to the side. That'll expose our cooktop up here. With this cooktop, there is an LP port over here with a long hose that'll come over and connect to that. The refrigerator portion of it is separate down here, and it's both a refrigerator and a freezer. It's also 12 volt, so it'll work all the time. Some of you may think, ooh, 12 volt, that's going to use a lot of battery power. Well, just so happens, this particular unit not only has the very large 320 amp lithium battery in it, but it also has the maximum amount of solar available up on the top, 455 watts of solar on this. The electrical system is fabulous on this thing. Now, speaking of options, you could go with a second 320 amp lithium battery on the side, but you lose the generator when you do that. So this does have the 2800 watt generator and the 320 lithium. My personal experience is this is the absolute best setup you could possibly hope for. It is exactly the way I would want my new EKKO. So speaking of the, back to the tailgate package here, we do have a flip up over here, and this will accommodate this sink. And this sink basically just drops into position over here. Then you have a hose that connects to your hot and cold line back underneath here. And that hose will give you the ability to use this sink out here. And of course, very simple to just take and dump. And then what you didn't see was your connection for the LP hose I was speaking of that comes around over here. Okay, looks like an airline fitting. Now, I do know that there is availability for a T to come off of the supply port over here. So you can still operate your outdoor kitchen, or you can also have another appliance out here that you may want to use in addition to that. So there are some possibilities there, but that's not something offered by us or Winnebago. It's something that have to be made aftermarket for you. All right. Another option on the EKKO is called graphics delete. And there's no upcharge or savings on price with a graphics delete. This one does not have it. So it does have the striping here and the image here. Without the graphics, it would only be the EKKO logo. Okay, so the propane aspect on this thing. So many Class C's, Class A's, let's just say drivable RVs in general, and this is a huge majority of all of these, have a fixed LP bottle on the unit. So if you are concerned about running out, or if you do run out, you have to take the entire unit into town, get some propane, and come back. What I love about the design on the EKKO is they've gone back to the old school dual 5-gallon bottles, 20-pound bottles. This is the same setup you see on most towables like trailers. And the nice thing here is you can alternate between the two using your lever right here. So if one becomes empty, I'm turned to this bottle right now, this tank becomes empty, my green indicator here turns red. So I can visually walk up to this thing and say, oh, red, I know this bottle is empty. So I flip it over to this one, it pops back green, and now I can safely take this bottle out and go exchange it if I need to. Good flexibility, easy for you to get propane in a pinch if you need it. All right. One of the best features on the EKKO is the storage. I believe it's 63 cubic feet, which is huge for a 23-foot unit. And that is located back here. So this is a full pass-through, very tall, 3 ways into this compartment. Great storage ability because you have the L-track flooring on both sides down below, and it's also on both sides up on the top. And then you see over on the far end, there is like a ring of tie downs. And I don't remember how many there are, 10 or 12, but those go into that L-track so you have something to tie down to. You also have this removable panel down here on the bottom that you can take out and hose off real easy. You have AC and DC hookups on both sides. They call them charging ports, but of course you can use it for pretty much anything you want back there. And then you'll also notice over on the far end on the forward wall is a heat port. That heat port is closable in case you want 100% efficiency on the inside of the unit. But if you have something back here you want to keep the temperature up on a little bit on those cold days, then you can open that up and it blows a little bit of heat back into this area back here. So really nice, great setup right there. You've also got the molly wall on both sides right here, and there's multiple things you can do with this. All kinds of accessories you can use in this female molly attachment board right here. So those, again, you can look at all the different options online and see what they've got as far as strapping down items. Just really terrific, really well done. And that's on both sides. Okay, last thing on this side over here is going to be the Truma AquaGo water heater. This right here is for unlimited hot water, but it's also on demand. So you're not carrying around that big 6.2 gallon tank of water inside this thing. It initiates the flow via electricity, it initiates the heating via electricity or LP as the flow initiates through there. So it's an automatic on and it works really well. Great system. Hooked up at the campground now. You've got your drain hose connected. You've got your electricity plugged in. You don't need your generator. You're all set. You can take that nice long shower in this thing. So if you're out in the wilderness, however, there is another advantage right there. And this really small unit has 50 gallons of fresh water storage. Also has a 51 gallon gray tank. I'm not mentioning the black tank because that's a totally separate entity I'll mention to you on the other side over here. So as I was saying, you know, there's 3 ways in to this back area right here. So no matter what the situation, you're always going to be able to access your gear. Winnebago has done such a nice job on the design of this unit. Now, granted, some of the things, like when I get to the bathroom, Winnebago did steal some ideas from the Europeans, and that's okay. They're fair game. Bring it into the US, integrate it into the latest, greatest unit that we've got here in the country, the hottest selling product going. Why not? So take a page out of the Europeans' book is okay at this time. You do have the hitch receiver on there with a 5,000 pound tow rating. It's tucked down in there a ways. So since that sets back a little bit, in most cases you might want to use a little bit longer drawbar to bring that ball out here beyond the plane of the bumper a little bit further. This unit also is equipped with proximity sensors and the upgraded sensors on the corners right here. So they've changed the design on the EKKO slightly to make up for that by angling the opening of the door right here so they could put on the higher grade proximity sensor. All right, the wet bay. Another very innovative feature of RVs today is having this manifold system right here. So I'll let you get a closer look at that. Basically, you've got a diagram depending on what operation you want to perform, be it dry camping, filling up your fresh water tank, just normal hooking up to city water, winterizing the unit, or sanitizing the unit. You turn your valves, your color-coded valves, to the corresponding diagram up above. Very simple, easy to do. You've got a panel on the bottom that unscrews, and from there, your sewer hose will come up from the bottom and attach. And actually, in this case, it's not a sewer hose. You're just using a drain hose, even though it's the same hose, because remember, we don't have the black tank connected to this section right here. All right, so nice, easy, user-friendly system back here. This is also a heated area because this has the extended stay or extended season ability that Winnebago calls it on this one. So keeping all those areas warm that could freeze. Not sure why you would want to do it. I think 455 watts of solar is ample That's really a lot. With that larger 320 amp lithium battery, I still believe it's the perfect system right here. But if you just have to have a little more solar, you can plug in a panel out here. And on this particular unit, what's nice is you can have one of those big panels and store it in that huge area in the back there. I think it's a bit redundant myself, but that's your call. You saw in that back section, we had that black cord down below. That's our 30 amp connection. So when we're at a campground, we have no need to run the generator at this point. Everything's fired up on AC power. That's also recharging the batteries as long as that's going right there. This is the vent for the Truma system. Now I have to be honest, I was a RV technician for over 30 years, and back in the days we had to work on different types of forced air furnaces and automatic ignition water heaters, and you know, it was a little complicated. There were a lot of things that could go wrong, but here as of late, Truma has developed a heating system and water heater system, as you saw. This is absolutely fantastic. I have this on my own RV now, and I really love it. So the Truma system is a boiler type system. So imagine a big vessel of glycol. Via electricity or propane, that vessel becomes heated. Once it gets up to temperature, now that glycol will circulate through the unit. It goes through the perimeter of the unit and has areas where it allows heat to blend into the coach. So very efficient and very even heating throughout. I think it's one of the greatest things ever. I absolutely love my Truma system. Just, I can't say enough about it, but that's something that a lot of you are familiar with, and you've probably experienced it yourself. If you're kind of old school like me, ask some people that have newer RVs. These have been out for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. But great system. Ask other people how they like theirs. I think you're going to get a lot of positive feedback on that. So not to dwell on that too long, this unit, like I had mentioned earlier, you do have that big 320 amp lithium battery down there. And then you also have the 2800 watt QG Onan generator, quiet gas, gasoline powered. So this is drawing fuel from the same tank as the motorhome itself. And as many of you know, I'll still mention, when you get down to that quarter tank level, you can no longer draw fuel for the generator. And they do that on purpose so you can't strand yourself out in the wilderness somewhere. If that generator quits running, you might be thinking about getting back into town and getting some fuel. All right. Lack of a black tank, like I was mentioning. This has the cassette style toilet system over here. So this is its own entity in the bathroom here. And the reason that's nice is because with 5 gallons, you can get a few uses. That's fine. But it's also very easy for you to take this out and go dump it, recharge it with some chemical, slide it back in. I may not mention it when we get inside, but the toilet that sits above this is on a bit of a swivel. So if you need to kind of change the angle on that, you can. The biggest benefit I can think of is, remember you were wanting to use this unit in the wintertime. Take advantage of that all-wheel drive aspect on here. It's not a true 4-season unit. That's a very dangerous thing to claim. Winnebago purposely calls it extended season. Now, I don't have an exact temperature to refer to on this thing, but I know people have used this close to 0, kept the heat going through the Truma system and not frozen anything up. However, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, you go to bed at 10 p.m. and you get up at 7 a.m. it can drop below zero many times. It's very common for that to happen. So the benefit of the cassette style toilet right here is you can still leave the entire unit winterized, not worry about the water system at all. You can carry some fresh water with you so that you can use that for your drinking and cleaning up. But this being a separate entity, this is still going to work. So even with the entire system winterized, you still have the ability to use the toilet inside. I find that a big benefit myself. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about these dual pane windows when we get inside. I really love those. I have these on my RV as well, and there's some cool features to this, so we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll go through more of this cab and its features when we get inside. From here you can see that it's got the huge touchscreen on the dash now. So that's new on the 23 chassis right here, and it's pretty impressive. Great ergonomic design on that dash. Multiple positions on the seating here for adjusting and getting different size humans comfortable in there. Okay. So out here in the front, we do have the XD Xenon headlights on this thing, which give you really nice beams out there, so you can see extremely well with this. This is that 3.5 liter twin turbo EcoBoost I was speaking of. So this is something you have to experience firsthand. You need to drive one of these to really appreciate the amount of power, and coupled with that 10-speed transmission, how smooth this is. It's a wonderful driving machine. I'll tell you, I just love it so much. Very easy access to all the stuff you want to get to, whether it be, you know, a jump start port or coolant overflow or brake fluid or oil check or transmission check, windshield washer. It's all very easy to get to on this thing. You know, we've seen some, especially conventional Class Cs, not so easy to get in there and do things that you want to do yourself. In full disclosure, I want to mention that this particular unit succumbed to a little bit of hail that we got recently. So we've got some options for you there, be it we can work on our sale price a little bit, or we can promise to fix that thing in short order for you. So don't worry about that too much, not that big a deal. All right. One thing that's very important, I mentioned that this has every option except that cab bed and the pop top up on the top. And I walked right by one of the coolest features option-wise, and I want to show that to you. We commonly refer to this as the Batwing awning back here. This is made by a company called Awining out of South Africa. And this is one of the coolest things. I love this also. So let's take a look at the Awining Batwing antenna here. So I'm 6 feet tall, so this thing is going to be setting just barely above me right here. So in most cases, you're going to find it's good for just about everybody. However, once this is out, you'll probably be sitting down on lawn chairs back here relaxing anyway. All right. So Batwing, the reference to the flying mouse, if you will. As you can see, this comes out in sections right here that are all connected, hence looking like a bat's wing. Well, this is going to move all the way around and then interconnect up here to our small bracket. All right, so we've got good clearance in here. We've got a lot of coverage. You'd be around the side, back, corner. If need be, you can put down the extra pole right here to give it a little more support. Not necessary. This is actually very strong the way it is right now. And then if you're sitting out here with the rain, which just started to rain a little bit, we've got another nice feature here that pops up and gives us the draping motion. So it runs everything off, doesn't pool up on the top. All right, nice setup here, really nice awning. It's not something I've seen on other units. Maybe it's out there, but so far, as far as our lineup of RVs goes, it's exclusive to the EKKO. And pretty cool. You agree? I thought so. All right, so let's take a look inside. There's a lot to talk about on this thing. Try not to get too long-winded here. Okay, so let me move back here into the very back. So this has really nice big twin beds. It also has the Frawley system down here, so it's super comfortable. Some of the Class Bs that you know of, be it the Solus or the Travato, Era, so on and so forth, they're very firm mattresses. These are considerably softer right here. That coupled with the Frawley system make it really comfortable back here. This also has your reading lights, and these reading lights are pretty cool in that the blue light there is something that makes the letters in the book kind of just stand out. It's also not interfering with, you know, your partner sleeping over here. But if you did want full light, we just hold that down and then we get full power on the light that way. Charging ports for your cell phone up here, overhead cabinetry. We do have indirect lighting back here as well, and huge windows on the sides. So the visibility is fantastic. It's really, really good in here. Both sides over here have drawer storage, which those are really deep. And these are closets down below here. So I think the easiest way for you to see it on camera is to look from the top. Now those doors open up right here so you can access your clothing that's hanging in there. You got an extra little space, a deep one and a shallow one for personal items. Great use of space, really done well. This section right here you can use as like a drink holder or magazines or whatever, your books and what have you. But this will also flip over, fill this section in, and you can make the entire thing one big bed back here. What you can't see from there is very simple. Against this wall, there are hookups for television. So if you wanted a bedroom TV, very easy to just mount right here and plug right in. Okay. Maybe while we're right here, I want to demonstrate this dual pane window for you. So like I said, I have this in my RV and it's great. It's another one of those just fantastic inventions. Why didn't I think of this? So great security because of the way the thing tightens down here and brings that window into the bulb seal there so you don't have any air leaks. Sits very tight on there. Multiple positions. When you hear the little click, you can stop right there and get nice airflow that way. Cross breeze, big windows. This also has your full block out that comes up from the bottom, and it has your screen that comes from the top. And of course, those can be interconnected right here. So if you wanted it just partial with some, you know, block out where you're down here, but still get some airflow up here and not bugs. Good thinking. They really did well on that. And then the final thing that I just think is so impressive, you know, you like the idea of security. You don't want somebody breaking into this thing when you're not around, but you still want to get some air in here. So there's two areas where this latch can go. And if I bring it all the way in like it was when I started, it's closed against that bulb seal and it's fully tight. And I don't know if you could tell, but the traffic noise just went way down because of the dual pane polycarbonate window right here. But imagine, like I was saying, you want some airflow, but you want your security. So you can go into this center position right here. You can have full security, and you've got a little gap going all the way around. So a little bit of fresh air coming through. Super well thought out. Speaking of the polycarbonate dual pane right there, not only is it much quieter having that, does insulate better, but it's near unbreakable. I'm still waiting for somebody to do a video where they throw a brick at this thing and it bounces off. Unfortunately, Transwest won't let me do that. Maybe I'll do it to my own, just to prove it to you. But really fantastic, essentially unbreakable. So that's my take on the window. I love it. I think it's just so brilliant what they did with that. Okay, so as we're moving forward here, the controls for the Truma system are up here, and this is fully programmable for the heating aspect of the Truma. And you can program this for different times of day, different fan speeds, different temperatures. So you're in complete control. You want the temperature to come down at night a little bit while you're sleeping, just like at home with your smart thermostat. And then just before you wake up, it's nice to get that heat kicked on, so it's very comfortable in here. So the Truma system, well done. German design. That's been around, I don't know, maybe about as long as the EcoBoost engine, 2011-ish, I think. You guys will all look that up and prove me wrong. That's okay, I'm guessing at that. We've also got our attic fan up above here that is thermostatically controlled. So we can do it remotely from here, or we can reach to the ceiling back there and turn that thing on manually, which I believe I have it running on low right now. Okay, so comfort controls right here. Again, close to the bedroom, so you can change those on the fly if need be. The refrigerator in here. Many of you have heard me talk about how much I like 12-volt refrigerators for a lot of reasons. One, you don't have the coils in the back taking a 30-er space up inside there, so you have full depth for storage of your food. Two, you don't have to be level with this thing. It can run upside down if you could figure out how, but that's really nice. And being a 12-volt, it's very efficient. That coupled with the system we have on here, remember 455 watts of solar, the 320 amp lithium battery, make this the best choice you could possibly go with. Cost of replacement, let's call this number 4. If I have to replace this refrigerator, I'm probably going to be in the $700–800 range, a guess again, versus an absorption style refrigerator that most RVs have gas and electric operated. Those are going to be well over $2,000. So if in the unlikely event you have to replace your refrigerator, less likely to break the bank. All right, so really nice setup in here. Lots of door storage, lots of shelving storage, the slide out tray down below, and the freezer up above. Freezer's not that big. Granted, it's not that big, but don't forget we have the tailgate package on this. So we have 4 or 5 times that amount of freezer space outside if you need it. Okay, love it. The coup de grace, if you will, is the bathroom on the EKKO. And we could have maybe found a smaller guy to demonstrate this for you, but I'll do my best to stay out of the way. It's another thing that Winnebago, I don't want to say stole from the Europeans. They borrowed this idea from the Europeans because they're so good at utilizing tight spaces in the most efficient manner. Well, what we've got in here is basically a sink and a toilet. And as I was mentioning, that toilet swivels down there so that you can get comfortable in just about any angle that you want. It also has that same dual pane polycarbonate window over there with the same features I mentioned on the bedroom. And a nice sink, plenty of room to stand here, medicine cabinet. There's even AC outlet in here for you to plug into. There's a water pump switch so you don't have to come out and then come back in, so you can operate the sink right there. And then floor drain down below. So you look at this and you think, well, this is a typical wet bath, and I don't want a wet bath. Well, it's really not a wet bath. It's a dry bath. But the way Winnebago did this is really great. So now it's time to shower. So this wall comes over, it covers up the things over there you don't want getting wet. And I am 6 foot tall, 250 pounds. I could shower in here, no problem. This is great. What a brilliant design. I haven't seen it in anything else, but I expect the competition in the RV industry to probably take a page out of Winnebago's book here and come up with something like that in the near future. Okay, we do have a microwave on board, very simple. 2-burner cooktop out here, 2-burner cooktop outside. Good size sink in here, which is draining into that 51 gallons of gray water storage. And indirect lighting, really nice to have when you're traveling late at night or just sitting in here. You can leave this on all night long, give you a nice little glow throughout the unit. We've got a remote for our air system that's up above there running the exhaust fan. Generous storage down below here, and kind of hard to see, but back against that wall is the full water filtration. It goes up to the kitchen sink right there. These, like you saw in the back storage, and you'll see in a couple spots over here, is part of the Truma heating system. So that's really nice. You can close an area off, you can direct your flow. I can't say enough about that Truma. I am impressed. I am impressed. Down below here, you do have the ability to turn off your solar charger if you so desire. Do you guys remember how many watts the solar was? Yes, 455. Very good. Good job. You were listening. I like that. So the seating back here for additional passengers, those belts are built in, and this can also become your dinette. So there's a couple of options you can do for eating. These seats are going to swing around and face this way. And then as we came in the door, there is a table behind the passenger over here. So that slides up, lays down, sets in front of the passenger. Because we have a drop down on the floor into the cab area, they give us these jump seats. So we're not sitting, essentially below floor level, if you will. So that makes a really nice living room area right here once you bring those seats and bring them back around that way. And it gives us plenty of room to eat in here. Another option that is on this one is the front television with sound bar. So that smart TV right there is really nice to have sitting back in here, very comfortable right in front of your view. Again, if you wanted the second bedroom TV, that's easy to do as well. I don't think this is all that easy to see from the back there unless you're laying with your head way over to the side so you can see down through the center of this. So nice that they put the hookups in the bedroom back there for you. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the cab features on this. So back to the Ford Transit chassis with the 3.5 liter twin turbo EcoBoost engine, 310 horsepower, 10-speed transmission. The new touchscreen display is much larger now on this 23 chassis. And we'll give that a sec to boot up there. Okay, so just like my personal vehicle, I really like the way they have the map and your controls on the same screen right here. You can't do that with the small screens, and many of you know the first screens that came out on these Transits were like this big. They were really tiny. But this is great because you've got real easy access to everything here. You've got controls on the steering wheel to handle this as well. You've got the phone connectivity in there. And feature-wise, you can refer to the owner's manual here anytime. While you're doing that, your map is still active. The apps on here, you've got mobile apps that you can attach to that, but you can also do Apple or Android on there. So what a great setup. Really, really great system on here. You can do all of your controls as far as climate control, make your changes in here as well, fan speed, so on and so forth. So well done, Ford. Well done. They really did a nice job with that. I was mentioning how comfortable this is. So great visibility to my dash screen, to my center screen. My compartments up above right here give me multiple options for putting stuff in. I've got USB connectivity up here as well. I've got another charging port up here. My phone can stay up in here charging while I'm traveling. Of course, the Bluetooth aspect from your phone being very close like that. Otherwise, it's, you know, just got all the cool stuff. So, I expect to be going back to my phone right now and seeing a message from you. This is a golden opportunity for, again, you to have the #1 selling product in the RV industry right now, hands down. And that's by a large margin. The EKKO is the greatest thing going. This just became available, so I grabbed it and I wanted to go live on YouTube to show this to you. This is the 15th of June. So if you're watching this in the future, at least you can use it for a reference to see what the EKKO looks like. But this isn't gonna last. So please, I think they probably have my phone number on here. Call me right away, 714-809-4813. I'm Bill Hurtado with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. Have a great day.